Yes, there we go. So, here it is. Today, we are intentionally getting April Fools. And this is part 1. Oops, I think I might have accidentally shared the wrong screen. Hold on a second. Remove. Off screen. Share screen. Share the screen. OMG, it's here. The Switch 2, everything got leaked. Alright, so we obviously know that this is an April Fool's video, but that's the point. We're trying to intentionally get April Fools as our little calm before the Switch 2 storm. And then after that, we're going to make our predictions for what we're going to see tomorrow before my live stream tomorrow.
This is actually crazy. This is literally the craziest thing. This is actually crazy. This is literally the craziest thing ever. I can't show this because of copyright. But it's actually...
Sure, you can't show it because of copyright. Alright. So basically, I'll be watching a bunch of Nintendo April Fool's videos. Wait, let me... Yeah. So I'll be watching a bunch of like Nintendo April Fool's videos. And what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be ranking them on how good the April Fool's joke is.
Actually, here, guys. The Nintendo Switch 2. Literally everything got leaked. This is crazy. This is...
Well, I'm not sure you're actually wrong there. The Switch 2 kind of did get all leaked before the announcement, you know? I mean, that is nothing new at all. So I know what you're getting at here. But like the Switch 2 did pretty much get a leak. Like we knew what was coming when the reveal came.
It's actually crazy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out. Okay.
Oh wow. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. It certainly isn't an April Fool's prank, is it?
Okay, guys. This is literally crazy. Oh my goodness. Bro. Donkey Kong World.
This really well background music's actually making me feel nostalgic, by the way. Not gonna lie.
But literally got it. I'm switching.
DK World 2. Okay. Wait, there's already a DK World. I did not know that.
I'm actually reading this right now. Donkey Kong World, guys.
Sure.
This is actually crazy. There's going to be 2 games coming out. Donkey Kong. This is actually crazy. The entire direct got leaked, guys. Oh my goodness. There's Funky.
What happened to Cranky Kong's eyes, bro? What happened to Cranky Kong's eyes?
Diddy Kong. Very backed up Diddy Kong energy. And oh my goodness, there's Donkey Kong eating a banana. And also,
well, no way, it's Donkey Kong eating a banana. All right. And so basically, if you're new here, just what I'm trying to do is I'm reacting to everyone's April Fool's videos, and I'll be ranking them. So
name is Kong, Uncle Kong, or whatever his name is. I don't remember. Okay, Nick. Guess what, guys? You know what's even crazier than that? It's literally massive. It's literally so massive. You do not even know how massive it is. It's literally massive. Oh my goodness. Mario Kart 9. That also got leaked. There's literal Kirby inside of Mario Kart. I did not...
Kirby and Mario Kart. Wow. No. Wow. To be honest, To be honest, I actually rate this April Fool's video. I actually rate it. It's actually pretty good.
That was actually going to be coming. And then the craziest part actually happened. This is actually crazy. I've been waiting for the next Smash game for so long. Oh my goodness, guys.
Smash Bros. Legends. That's actually an interesting name. That would actually be sick. That would actually be sick.
Bros. Legends. Is Diddy gone? There's Bowser. Literally everything got these guys. Literally, they have Fortnite in Smash Bros. Like what? I thought Minecraft was crazy, but we got Fortnite in Smash Bros. This is literally
Fortnite in Smash Bros. I would crash out if they put Fortnite in Smash Bros. I would actually crash out. So I'm actually glad this is an April Fool's.
crazy, guys. You do not understand how hype this is. And guess what? The literal Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is literally getting a new remake.
That's actually possible. A Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake. I see it.
Craziest thing ever. Literally ever. And the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to have 2 screens. This is literally the most crazy thing that ever happened. And look at this. Someone has a Nintendo Switch 2. Someone has it.
Wow, no way! Look, it's a Nintendo Switch 2, and there's no way it's reflection like that. Oh my god! Oh my Switch 3! Oh my god!
This is literally crazy. This is literally so
Insane!
crazy. You guys do not understand. And Nintendo also tweeted this.
Nintendo tweeted that. Sure, bro. Sure. Okay, now it's getting a bit. Now the April Fool's is getting a bit crazy. You're actually going a bit. You're going a bit wild here. You're going a bit wild.
This is literally crazy, guys. Nintendo is literally flipping us off. So this video is literally the craziest video. I've literally been hyping up the Nintendo Switch 2 since before it came out. It is literally crazy.
It is mad. It is so insane.
Literally, this is like insane. This is literally the most insane thing ever, guys. You do not understand. I will see you in the direct, but it does not matter.
Sure, I'll see you in the direct too, and it will matter. Okay, the question is, will we get Rickrolled or Coconut Mauled at the end? That's the question.
This guy's channel, his name is Sussy Baka Among Us.
Really, bro? Okay, the April Fool's attempt just fell off with that one. You just fell off.
Actually has the entire direct. I'm not showing the direct on my channel because I do not want to be blocked, but everything got leaked out. There's literally Metro Prime 4K Ultra HD. There's a second screen. Literally everything, guys. This is crazy. It's literally going to be coming out May 15th. Guys, this is the craziest thing ever. Goodbye. Energy.
Alright. You know what? Let's make a tier list. Let's do something and make a tier list, shall we? Okay, so we are making a tier list. So right now, what should we call the tier list? Make a template. Make your own template, alright? I can remove, stop screen, and now share my screen, create a new tier list, tier maker, alright. Create single use template. Okay, so April Fool's Masterclass. Great. Great joke. Ten out of 10. Great attempt. Decent. Decent attempt. Mediocre. Nah. Now, where would I rank IC5's video? That's the question. Where would I place IC5 video? So, we have April Fool's Masterclass. We have 10 out of 10. We have great attempt, decent attempt, mediocre, and nah. So, this is like the guideline that I'm going to be using for my April Fool's ranking. So, let's just add that to the stage. No, not this one. Not this one. Wait, let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. Alright. Create a single-use status. There you have it. Add to the stage. There you have it. So you have April. Please. You go away with that. Alright. April Fool's Masterclass, 10 out of 10, great attempt, decent attempt, mediocre, and nah. So, where would I place IC5? IC5. Alright. Let me get the channel name. Snipping tool. Yeah. IC5 +5 subscribers, copy. Save as IC5. Save. Upload files. Where's IC5? Yes. I would say that was a great attempt. Alright. So we have IC5. That was a great attempt. I would say it's up there. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now let's take a look at my own attempt. Screen. Share screen. Share screen. Alright. So let's get up. Now let's actually go to the Nintendo chat room, okay? Because I actually have a video that you guys haven't seen. So my video, this technically isn't April Fool's, but we should put it up to the test anyway. So think of this as if it was an April Fool's video. Okay, we've had enough. Alright. So think of this as if it was an April Fool's video, right?
Surprise, surprise, the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct is almost here. Yeah, time has absolutely flown by. Helicopter! Since that initial reveal trailer, but I'm not complaining. I'm obviously extremely excited to see what Nintendo has in store when fully showing off the Switch 2, and also, this low-key needs to be one of the worst Directs of all time.
What?
Not just because we want all the awesome announcements, but because this is the presentation to sell a Wii U. Nintendo hasn't been in this position for a while, that being moving from one really successful console to another. The Switch was obviously a massive success, but that was coming off the Switch 2 console. Nintendo really needs to make their case for Switch 2 because so many people already bought the Switch 2 console. They need reasons to upgrade. This was also one of the longest waits from direct announcement to reveal. Obviously, keeping it realistic, we'd love for 20 new first-party games to be announced, but we're keeping this as a plausible worst and worst case scenario. That's right, we're going to be fully running through a prediction for the Direct twice. One for the ceiling of how realistically the Wii U it could possibly be, and then one for the floor of, this would probably be the Switch 2 console. It's still realistically what they could actually do. Because this Direct is so important, there's a ton to jump into, so hey guys, it's Miyamoto, ongoing economic situations. Let's just get started. Here are the best and worst case scenarios for the big Switch 2 presentation.
See? The real leaked intro. See? Real leaked intro, huh? Okay. So I'll be right back. I will be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. So we're doing a series of two things. So first of all, we're reacting to people's actual Switch 2 prediction videos, and we're going to also react to people's Switch 2 April Fool's videos and basically rank them on how good or bad they are as April Fool's pranks. Yes, part of today's stream is literally going to be intentionally getting April Fool's pranks. I know it's crazy, but yes. So it's time for the Switch. I'm kidding. Switch account. Alright, so let's react to some Switch 2 content, shall we? Just random Switch 2 content. Can be anything, alright? So, Let's begin. Let me actually link the stream. So, where's my stream? So go to Nintendo chat room. Nintendo chat room. Live. Alright, so just get a link to live. Let me just get. There's a bit of delay. Yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's quite a lot of delay. Like 20 seconds of delay. What? All right. Just copy the link. Just copy the link. Link it on my server. So we are literally just doing a chat room react. Wait, let's pause that so it doesn't keep repeating. But we are literally just doing a chat room reacts before the Twitch review, and I know it's April Fool's, so I've gone ahead and intentionally reacting to people's April Fool's videos. So yeah. So let's go on to YouTube. Oh, they put it up. They've just set it up. They've just yes, confirmed. They've literally just set up the Nintendo Direct link, so I can show you guys on YouTube. They've literally set up the link to the Nintendo Direct. So let me just get it up for you guys. Right. First, let's just get some. Let's get some background music, because there's going to be a lot of discussion in this stream. Okay, there's going to be a lot of discussion. It's all about discussion. Let me share my screen. Nintendo Direct, Nintendo Switch 2. There you have it, folks. Adding it to the stage. There we have it. Nintendo Direct, Nintendo Switch 2. I'm looking at the UK variant of it, but I think Nintendo America probably have their one up as well. So Nintendo Direct, Nintendo Switch 2. April 2nd of April, which is basically the UK version of the date. 2nd of April 2025. And well, it is gonna be a big day. So the hype is building. There's a lot of people making like content every day. I think they need to calm down. I think people need to calm down. It just wait until tomorrow and then talk. So a closer look at the Nintendo Switch 2. I know they just randomly like shadow dropped the Zelda movie the other day. I can't remember. I think it's 2027. They just shadow dropped the release date for the Zelda movie. I have no idea what to expect with the Switch 2 trailer. Nintendo just come out of the blue. But I'm hoping to see some good content. I'm hoping to see some good stuff that indicates that we're getting the Switch 2. And obviously what the Switch 2 is, exactly, and that we're getting it soon. That we're getting it, like, hopefully still within, like, the first half or, like, the first 3 quarters of the year. Because I don't know about you, but it would suck if I had to wait for Christmas. Or, like, December or holiday. I don't know. I think it would suck. Anyway, let's see what some people have to say about the Nintendo Switch 2 trailer. Five things Nintendo Switch 2
This
needs to
video
do
was
better
brought-
by Arlo. Alright, so we're gonna be reacting to Arlo. So let's see what some people have to say. This is we're not, it's officially 2:30. Wait, announcement. It's officially 2:30, guys, which means that there is officially under 24 hours left until the Switch 2 Direct. We are under a day away from the Switch 2 Direct. Let's
to you
watch.
by Squarespace. I have one single question to ask you. Do you need a website? If the answer is yes, then I have a lot more than one piece of follow-up information. Squarespace makes building just about any website
Alright, let's be
super easy.
respectful and
You
let
can
him
build a
talk about the
blog or a
sponsor.
storefront or a digital portfolio. It doesn't matter. No coding, no prior
Let's let him
knowledge,
talk
no
about the
problem.
sponsor, 'cause
Squarespace's
obviously
intuitive
this
builder
sponsors
makes
the video.
adding and formatting
Squarespace
text
is the
and
reason
images
why
and
we are watching
videos
this video right now. So you can
intuitive. You can even start with a
use the
template if you want. And by the
Yeah,
end,
okay.
you'll have a slick, professional site that meets all your needs. And if you do need a bit of extra juice, Squarespace offers a bunch of powerful extensions. My site, Arlo Recommends, is a simple blog, so I just cook up my posts, schedule them to publish and push to social media automatically, and I'm done, which leaves me lots of extra time to obsess over analytics. I'm a YouTuber. It's what we do. To try out Squarespace for yourself, head to squarespace.com for a free trial. Then when you're ready to launch, head to squarespace.com/Arlo to save 10% off your
If you're
first website or
interested in
domain.
that,
And
check it
now,
out.
for today's recommendation, butter knives. They're really useful.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't have time to come up with anything today. Thanks again to Squarespace. Now, I only have one single video to start and, you know,
Yeah,
it's
go ahead.
basically encrypted. Hello, my name is Arlo, and I am very, very excited for the Nintendo Switch 2. And that's because the first
You can
Switch,
tell.
it's just so darn amazing, isn't it? Right now, we're on the tail end of the best Nintendo generation of all time, if you ask me. I just feel like the
N64
Switch...
fans, go ahead and cry. Just start crying. Start crying. He's just telling the truth. He's just telling the truth.
It stands...
We fans go ahead and start crying. We all know the truth. Everybody knows that the Switch 2 has always dominated. Stop, just stop, okay?
Head and shoulders above its predecessors in most categories. But as much as I love the little thing, it certainly ain't perfect. Among the new functionality and the great library and all that, we have seen some surprising blunders. Surprising because most of these are areas where Nintendo has historically been pretty strong. So going into the next generation, there's probably a lot that Nintendo could improve, but there are 5 things in particular that I would like to see done better on Switch 2. For starters, yeah, let's jump right into this with an obvious one.
Okay, the eShop is... Okay, so we know that the eShop is terrible, and they need to fix that damn eShop, otherwise... It's not gonna go well for them. It's not gonna go well for them if they don't fix that eShop.
The Switch eShop is abysmal. It is simply dreadful.
It is more laggy than... It is literally more laggy than playing next-gen games on a Switch.
Downright stinks. It's browser-based, so even from day one, it never felt good. It's always been a little sluggish, but it's only gotten worse over the last 8 years. I don't know how any of this works. I don't know why this would be the case, but it seems like the more games that have been added to the shop, the slower it's gotten. It's like a
Yeah, I swear, in 2017 it was laggy enough. But now it's 2025, and I can't even use the thing. I can't even use it. I scroll, and it takes 25 minutes to load anything. It's actually crazy.
room that you're filling with stuff and you can't move around anymore. Now it's like wading through sludge. Titles take way too much time to load. Everything freezes and lags. The most
And
basic...
also, why does it push all the filler content and all the weird, really budget, cheap mobile third-party games? Why do they push all of that to the top? I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm trying to Like if I'm trying to find a Mario game, but the search function isn't working because it sometimes doesn't. And imagine like you were someone who didn't know about Nintendo games and you were trying to get into it, and you look at the eShop and all you see is this filler games, and you don't know whether to search about Mario because you don't know about Mario. You don't know that that's a big thing with Nintendo. You don't know that Zelda's a big thing. You don't know that Metroid's a big thing. You just got a Switch because someone told you that it was fun, and that is some people. Like obviously us Nintendo fans, we know what it's about, but like there's a lot of casuals, like people new to Nintendo who get a Switch. They don't know this stuff. They don't know this stuff, and you're just pushing all the cheap budget games that they can play on a mobile phone.
Navigation has become an unpleasant chore, and that's to say nothing of the lack of features. Here in the year 2025, it feels very strange having to purchase a bunch of games individually because there isn't even a basic cart feature. Organization is also quite poor, making it harder for games that aren't already successful to rise to the top. And then, of course, there's the shovelware. Low-quality games have always had a place on any platform, and Nintendo's love of unusual hardware features has encouraged a particular breed of junk on their consoles pretty much since the Wii generation. But the Switch eShop takes things to the next level and beyond. Zero-effort asset flips have been a problem since the early days, flooding the platform and making it more and more annoying to find actual, real new games. But now, the rise of generative AI has turned the store into a veritable landfill. Literally worthless games, chock full of hideous AI art, falsely advertised
Exactly.
using other hideous AI art is now the most prolific genre in gaming, when you think about it. And of course, loads of these games are shameless, copyright-violating
Call of Warzone.
rip-offs, existing for the sole purpose of tricking lesser experienced shoppers. Nintendo used to be quite strict about what they allowed on their storefronts, probably like too strict. And I don't know what happened, but this generation, they just kind of threw up their hands and opened the floodgates for one and all. And I just don't understand it. Like, can we get a happy medium here? You don't need to micromanage every game. You don't have to be super duper strict about what's allowed. We just need like one single person to glance at the incoming games to filter out the obvious trash, the games that are of literally no
Learn to
value
play
to
penalty
anyone,
shooter.
that are basically just scams. Having an open platform where anyone can publish just about anything is cool from an artistic perspective, I guess. Maybe you could argue that the line between predatory and simply amateurish may not always be easy to see, but so many of these games do nothing but hurt customers and damage Nintendo's reputation. Like, how can there be literally no moderation whatsoever? I don't understand it. Heck, I'll do it for free. I will do it for free. Like, just send me a list of all the new games coming in on any given day. It will take me 30 seconds to filter out the junk. We don't want that old, heavy-handed Nintendo moderation. Just a light touch. A feather-light finger would do. So yeah, I have no idea how Nintendo is going to handle the eShop on Switch 2. If it's fully backwards compatible, I don't know what's going to happen to all these games. Does the whole shop just move on over? Will Nintendo consider changing up their moderation process with this new platform? However they need to do it, the next eShop needs to be better. Every time
PlayStation Store. PlayStation Store is actually pretty good, to be honest. I'd probably say but Xbox's one is actually better. I would say PlayStation is better than Xbox because you can just use Xbox on your PC. But PlayStation actually has like very good menus and stuff.
I hop on the store on my Series X or my PS5, I am floored by how much smoother the experience is. Like it's genuinely shocking.
Yeah, because I don't understand Nintendo with. I think they put so much effort into like everything else about the Switch, and they just forgot to bother with the eShop and stuff.
It's like swimming through clear water after flopping through waist-deep mud. I get it, the Switch doesn't have a lot of juice, so the UI is super simple, yada yada, but I don't know, please, Nintendo, it should not be so unpleasant to purchase video games on your massively popular video game hardware. And, some nice music wouldn't hurt either, just saying. Next up, here's
Yes,
something that I think
bring
a
back,
lot of my
bring back menu music. Bring back menu music. Like, it can be optional. Like, you can turn it off. But like, for like eShop and stuff, bring back menu music. It's like bringing back themes. Please bring back themes. Please, please. I want to put up some. I want to put some cool background behind my Switch interface. Please, please, Nintendo. I hope to see that tomorrow. I really hope to see that tomorrow. Thank you.
viewers will probably agree with. You know what should be better on Switch 2? What on earth
Mario
has
Sports. I don't think Mario Sports has actually been good since like GameCube, to be honest. I'm not sure. Does anyone disagree with me here? I don't think it's been that good since GameCube.
happened to Mario sports games? I'll admit this is an area where I don't have much of a personal stake. I've never been big on Mario sports, so I don't know all the ins and outs of what the old games had that the new ones don't, but I can certainly see the broadest issues. To sum it all up, it seems that the older games tended to be rich in both personality and content. On the personality side, both the characters and the artists bringing them to life were better able to express themselves. Mario Strikers, in particular, had the characters emoting with unusual intensity. The further back you go, the more loose Nintendo was with how their characters were depicted. The GameCube era, man, back then, it felt like anything went. But over time, Nintendo kind of homogenized Mario and all his friends.
But I think it's getting that with Mario Wonder. Like with Mario Wonder, they gave them more energy and they personalized them more. And I think the same goes for Mario Party Jamboree. You see a lot more expression. So I think that is a guaranteed for the Switch 2. It's good to have concern about it, but I think it's pretty much a guarantee at this point.
Easily recognizable style without much in the way of expression.
Boom.
It's certainly okay for Mario to look more or less like basic Mario in these sports games, but that doesn't mean that the games should be quite so lacking in personality. And then
I would say Tennis Aces has
heard
quite a bit of
tales,
personality.
epic
I'm not
tales
sure about
of
the golf one,
huge variety
but Mario
of
Tennis
modes
is alright
these
in my
games
opinion.
used to offer.
It's alright.
Loads of single-player stuff, even meaty
Aces is
campaigns.
alright. Some of
As
the
someone who doesn't spend a
mechanics
lot
are
of
a bit
time playing
confusing,
games
but
with
it's
friends,
alright.
this right here is what I am looking for in my Mario sports games. I'm not really interested in simply playing match after match after match with other people. I want content. I want stuff to work toward. I want game to play. But at some point, Nintendo decided that they just weren't particularly interested in providing varied sports-related content anymore, and they started releasing their games with a pretty shocking lack of stuff to do. To be fair, this is an ongoing problem. It's not unique.
I think, again, I would say yes, but not Tennis Aces. That's like the general rule here. Yes, but not Tennis Aces.
Unique to the Switch, and this generation we have seen Nintendo improve in some areas. There have been some wins here and there, but Switch's Mario sports games have been all over the place. It's as though they're always on the cusp of bringing Mario sports back to the glory days, but can't quite stick the landing. Mario Tennis Aces promised the return of campaign mode, and the trailers, they showed off some really cool cutscenes. But then the campaign ended up being incredibly short and basic, and never more interesting than just that one opening.
I like the campaign in Tennis Aces. Look, controversial take. I think Tennis Aces is alright. I think you have to think about it like this. Coming from Ultra Smash, I think Tennis Aces is a huge jump.
Cutscene, like that was the peak, and the rest of the game barely offered any content at all. The gameplay, it was terrific. It was really great, but beyond playing online, which of course required contending with constant connection issues, there just wasn't anything to do. Then you got Mario Strikers Battle League. This should have been
this game is a pile of junk. This game is trash. Is trash as trash can be. Okay, this game. Don't get it. Don't get this game, okay? If you were thinking of getting this game, Mario Strikers Battle League, just don't get it. Don't get it. It's a bad financial decision, okay?
After so many years of vanilla Mario, here was the return of the sports series with the highest concentration of personality. And judging by the trailers, it seemed like it was
Nah, bro. Nah. Nah. This game is terrible. This game is terrible. If you want to play a Mario sports game, just get Tennis Aces. And if you want to play a football game in specific, just play FIFA, okay? Like, it's just like this game is like the biggest crime in the Mario universe.
everything we could want. And then it released. It turned out that Nintendo forgot
And it was trash.
to put any content in it at all. Just a
Exactly. There's nothing. There's literally nothing in this game. There's nothing. There's nothing. Not like. There's not even like a minute drop of anything that I enjoy in this game.
standard single player cup mode, online play, and that's it. That was it. And I don't know the details, but I've also heard that gameplay changes were generally not well received. I wonder if we could consider Battle League Mario Sports'
Yeah, the
biggest
gameplay in this game is rubbish as well. And like, there's nothing about this game that is remotely good in the slightest.
missed opportunity ever, considering just how many years fans spent praying for a new title. And then there's Mario Golf Super Rush. From where I'm standing, this game probably got the most right. The campaign was at least more
I've never
substantial
played
than the
Super
one
Rush.
in
I've
Tennis
never
Aces.
seen Super Rush, but from what I've heard, I think my friends played it. Then he said it was actually pretty decent. Again, coming from the Wii U Mario sports titles, this is an upgrade. You have to think about it that way. Because I think that you can't criticize something that's at least better. It's at least a step in the right direction, if you know what I mean. They could have done better, yes, they could have done better, but I don't think it was awful. I think they're moving in the right direction. With Strikers, it's a different story. With Strikers, they need to change everything about that thing.
And I had a good amount of fun with it. And there were a decent number of modes to enjoy, especially if you're into multiplayer and all that. Stylistically, though, the game was easily the most boring out of all the Switch sports titles. Way too often,
Well, yeah, I'm not a big fan of golf games, to be honest. A lot of people are, but I just think it's boring. It's boring. If I want a golf experience, I just go out and play mini golf. You know, I just don't think go to like the mini golf course. That there you have fun, but like these golf video games, I like these golf games. They're kind of boring. I don't like them.
really just looked like a bunch of Mario related characters and stuff scattered across these bland real life golf courses. It could have used a lot more personality, that's for sure. All three of these games were given some free updates after launch, but this wasn't the gift that Nintendo seemed to think it was. On paper, yeah, it's nice when a game is supported by its developer.
Like, yeah, Strikers, especially with Strikers, like there's nothing that they could have done to make this game any better, right? This game was just doomed from the start. They didn't release it with as much content, and then they added more content, and then it was just ruined, okay?
DLC is a good thing, but in every case, it felt like Nintendo was just holding stuff back so they could drip feed it to us later. And it wasn't even really content, it was just characters and little tiny stuff that felt like it should have been there from launch. Nothing actually substantial. And releasing a game that feels very bare bones, then adding things over the course of several months, and ending up with a game that still more or less feels equally bare bones. Yeah, that's not fun.
Everything about
That's
Strikers
not what supporting a game means.
I'm not sure about golf, but I disagree with you about Tennis Aces. I think Tennis Aces is a decent game. I wouldn't say it's great or anything. I wouldn't say it's like Mario peak, but it's okay. I think it's all right. I think it's decent.
It's frustrating because it's starting to feel that this might all be purposeful, you know? Like each Mario sports game has so much potential. The gameplay is usually incredibly good, and in this day and age, competitive multiplayer games, they're bigger than ever. Kind of goes without saying. I could easily see a really good Mario sports game being played competitively, you know, like
Yeah.
enjoyed by streamers and their audiences everywhere. But Nintendo seems uninterested in fostering that kind of experience. When you release a multiplayer game with essentially no content, just online play, that's basically what you're doing. You're putting all of your eggs in the online multiplayer basket, but you actually have to do it. You have to put in the work. That kind of care and attention to detail and, actual support does take a lot of work, I'm sure. And they just don't seem to be interested. They seem to be more
Well,
interested in
I
just
think that's
getting the game out
a bit
there.
harsh. That's a bit harsh. Okay, that's going a bit too far. That's a bit too far. I think they do put a bit of effort into it, and I think the reason why it's lacking, I think, is more due to the visuals. I don't know. With Tennis Aces, I just completely disagree with you. With Strikers, I think it's like the modes. There's nothing in the game. There's little content in the game, but I feel like I don't know.
Making their money and moving on to something else. Mario Party, it's in the same boat. Those games are perfect for DLC. Nintendo could just keep adding content and encouraging people to keep playing for years. But there's no need. Party games and sports games alike are meant to just keep coming and coming in an endless carousel.
Yeah, because that's how they sell better. Like, that's how they sell well. In about 2 years' time, we'll get a new Mario Party for Switch 2. Obviously not in the first 2 years of the Switch 2 life cycle, but it's coming.
Single title is meant to be the best one, just the newest one. It feels like they're literally trying to make games that are just good enough. You'll be just satisfied enough to stick with the series.
Hey, I don't think you can apply that to Mario Party. Mario Party, Superstars is better than Super Mario Party, and Jamboree was better than Superstars. With Mario Party, they've literally been going on an upwards trend. Okay, you can't criticize Mario Party for that.
But not so satisfied that you'll only stick with the one game. It's this unhappy medium where the only option for fans is to just keep buying and saying, it's better than nothing. Perhaps this is a conspiracy theory, but it sure feels true. And in any case, it's just weird that there are decades-old games that outclass their modern iterations in nearly every way. I mean, we're living in the future here. I was a kid back then, and now I'm a grown-up. Isn't this stuff supposed to get better? I kind of get it. When a series will probably get a new entry at least once per generation until the end of the universe. How can you just improve and improve forever? I don't know, but I would like Mario sports games on Switch 2 to at least try a little harder than this. Like, really, we need content. At least some basic stuff for lone players like me to mess around with. Unlockables, campaigns, challenge modes, achievements, just stuff. Even if the newest sports game isn't hailed as a new series best, wouldn't it at least be nice if a humongous percentage of players didn't walk away disappointed and regretting their purchase? Nintendo wants us to think that they're in the business of making smiles. But if a longtime series fan feels not just disappointed with a new game, but downright cheated, then Nintendo has
You're being a bit
failed
harsh.
dramatically at that job. The entire
You're being a
Switch
bit harsh.
generation saw the company growing in a lot of ways and getting a whole bunch of stuff right. So here's hoping its Mario sports games were simply caught up in all the crazy change and will be consistently satisfying next time around. Okay, so the Switch had one problem that was rather uncharacteristic of Nintendo. Next gen, you know what I personally could do without? Insert joke about the global economic
Alright, hardware problems, yeah.
climate making it difficult to source Nintendium. Nintendo has a long history of selling unusually reliable hardware,
Yeah.
heavily used handhelds that somehow still function perfectly to this day,
So, yeah.
GameCubes that are dropped from space or whatever, the usual stories about Game Boys surviving atomic
wars and
blasts
bombs and
and
stuff.
supernovas. I personally still have all of my old systems, and they are all in great condition. I've experienced pretty much zero malfunctions
Yeah, like,
or
I've
breaks
literally
throughout
had-
3
No,
decades.
I've
of Nintendo
literally
fame.
had
And I
3 mobile phones break, and my Switch has not even a scratch.
think many other fans can probably say the same or close to it.
Except for the kickstand, and the kickstand fell off a few times, and obviously the Joy-Cons. My Joy-Cons just kept drifting. That's something that they obviously need to fix, and if they don't fix it, there will be people upset, okay? There will be people upset.
which makes the Switch such a strange anomaly. I mean, a broken Nintendo system? It's basically an urban legend. It's a cryptid. It is perhaps normal for any new hardware to go through some growing pains at launch. You know, sometimes you can't spot a point of potential failure until you get your systems into the hands of a few million testers, and the manufacturing process has got to be tweaked and updated a few times. But early Switch adopters saw a surprisingly high rate of issues. It's true that bricked or otherwise malfunctioning systems and dock scratched screens and heat warping and all that weren't by any means common, and a problem can feel a lot bigger than it actually is when every instance is compiled into a YouTube video. But it still seemed like more people were having problems than they had for the launch of any other Nintendo system. And even if those problems were more or less smoothed out, there was clearly something very wrong with the way the Joy-Cons were designed. I can only imagine Nintendo gradually updated the things throughout the generation because the problem seems to have slowly faded, but I, for one, found it to be a constant problem for most of the Switch's life. And it's not hard to find other people
drift
with similar experiences. Even if you take good care of your Joy-Cons, drift can set in fast and render a control stick completely unusable. Nintendo offered free repairs in some territories, but really did not do a good job of addressing the issue. It was a real thorn in the Switch's side, and of course, the sides of many customers. The original model of the Switch just seems a lot more shoddy than we're used to. The design is cool, and
I have an
elements
original
certainly
Switch,
seem
and it's
very
actually done
modern
pretty
at
well compared
first,
to a lot of
but
other people's.
even
But
from
my
the beginning,
Joy-Cons,
there was this
my old
slight
Joy-Cons,
cheapness
they
to the
just
thing.
always
And I
get
do
Joy-Cons
think
with
this
that
is more or
mid-play.
less because
My new ones
Nintendo
not.
had to
My
kind
new
of
ones
rush
no,
it out
because
the
I got the
gate.
new
The
like
Wii U
2024
tanked
Joy-Cons.
so hard that they
But
needed to replace it and reinvent
my
their
old
whole
Joy-Cons
business
from
strategy
2022,
as
yeah, they are
quickly as possible.
cooked.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just didn't have as much time for R&D and stress testing as usual. The good news is that if that's true, then we probably don't have much to worry about. The Switch generation was nice and long, the longest ever for Nintendo. They've had ample time to design the next iteration of Switch, especially considering we have reason to believe it was originally going to launch last year. And the Switch was a totally new idea. This will be an upgrade. So I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo had less straight up inventing to do and more simple tweaking. I'm trying not to get my hopes up or anything, but it sure would be nice if we just didn't have to worry about all this stuff next
I
wouldn't it?
really hope.
I mean, hey, this is...
I really hope we do not have to worry about Joy-Con drift or anything similar, or like the Switch 2 version of Joy-Con drift. I know a lot of people are worried about that magnetic connector. Personally, I think it's going to be okay. In my heart, I hope it's going to be okay, because Joy-Con drift was horrible. And like, if the magnetic connector is inside the Switch 2 breaks, there's like, you can't. How do you put in your Joy-Con? That's even that problem will be even worse. But because of the way it's designed, I don't think it will, because of those rims that the Switch 2 has. So I'm pretty confident that it won't. Okay, but any other problems it's like Joy-Con drift or similar to Joy-Con drift, I hope that doesn't happen. And even like screen problems, I hope it just doesn't happen with the Nintendo Switch 2. I just really hope.
Certainly increased my appreciation of Nintendo's tendency to produce pretty reliable hardware. So now let's just get back to normal and be that much more thankful. Okay, so everyone can agree that hardware problems stink, but this next one might be a little more divisive. One thing has really bugged me about the Switch generation. It's the music. This is another area where Nintendo has historically...
Well, the music in games, okay, I'm guessing you're talking about the console menu music. Nostalgia. Wii menu music.
I mean, do I even need to remind you of their long history of producing some of the best video game music there ever was?
Oh, video game music. What are you on about? Have you heard the OST of Odyssey? Have you heard the OST of Wonder? Have you heard the OST of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom? Have you heard the OST of Mario Wonder? Bro, there's so many games with such good OSTs on Nintendo Switch. What are you talking about? Even Sword and Shield, the mediocre game, has an amazing OST.
almost casually throw out tunes so immediately iconic that they become permanent fixtures in the VGM scene. The Mario series alone has produced an unfathomable amount of phenomenal
Yeah.
music. So I really don't know what changed during the Switch generation.
What
Breath
do
of the
you
Wild
mean?
came out right at the beginning, and the music was really good, but also more subtle and minimalistic and all that, so not really as memorable. But it seemed like an outlier, an exception. But then Mario
Have you,
Odyssey
have
came
you
out,
heard the
and the
Hyrule Castle theme from Breath of the Wild using the live instruments? The live instruments? What are you talking about?
music was good, but not
Yeah, the music in Odyssey was good. Go on.
quite 3D World good or Galaxy good. And I thought, okay, surely the next
Okay, I agree with you on that. It wasn't as good as Galaxy or 3D World, but I kind of think some Galaxy music is overrated. Just saying, Gusty Garden's soundtrack isn't that good. It is good. It's good, but it's
major first-party game would have amazing music, yet game after game after game hit the scene with soundtracks that tended to be pretty good at best. Music that certainly worked. It was all
this
pleasant
doesn't
enough,
bother me
but
very much. I don't know why this bothers you so much. It doesn't really bother me. I think first of all, I kind of disagree with you. I think that Nintendo Switch has some of the best music in game music in Nintendo's history. So
very little that jumped out at me and stuck in my memory. Very little that I wanted to seek out
okay,
and listen to.
if you're looking at Crafted World, then yes, Crafted World music is bad. Hi. We're just reacting to like Switch 2 prediction videos or like Switch 2 wish videos. So yeah.
own. Very little of those tunes that just like adhere to your very soul and elicit incredible nostalgia when you hear the opening notes, you know? I mean, if anything, Odyssey ended up having some of the best music all gen. The single best example of disappointing music, for me at least, has got to be Metroid Dread. Some of my all-time favorite VGM tracks come from Metroid games. Let's make that clear. I can basically just put on the OSTs from the
I don't know
Metroid
much
Prime
about Metroid, so I guess it's your opinion there.
trilogy and listen to them like albums. Like seriously, just for hours and hours on end. But Dread's music is infinitely forgettable. I've played through the game probably a dozen times by now, and I can't even say it's grown on me. It is still the most fine Metroid music I could imagine. Not bad by any means, but certainly not great. Actually, no. Now that I'm saying that, I'm remembering some of the music is bad. The cutscene music, some of the music in the cutscenes is genuinely terrible. It sounds like N64 music. Anyway, then my most recent disappointment was Echoes of Wisdom.
It sounds like N64 music. I think you're being a bit harsh. N64, ugh.
A brand new 2D Zelda was a chance to
Yeah,
finally
Echoes of Wisdom's music is kind of mediocre.
move away from all that beautiful subtlety and get our ears on something more energetic and memorable. But that game's music is also just pretty good, if you ask me. It apes the styles and sounds from past games, but doesn't manage to do much with them. And man, to bring up Mario Sports again, some of those old games have the best music. So many incredibly fun tunes in all sorts of genres. But all the modern OSTs are made up of a bunch of generic sports channel music. It's like the Mario part was left behind somewhere along the way. I won't just sit here listing examples. You get the picture. It just feels like essentially no series is at its musical best on Switch. Too little of this newer music lives up to the Nintendo legacy, you know? It is possible that I'm being unfair and hearing the old tunes through rose-tinted headphones? Like maybe it's nostalgia convincing me that the older music was better. I'm trying to be open to that idea, but I don't know. Switch generation is long. I've had many years to try and let some of these soundtracks grow on me, and it just ain't happening. And I often discover older games and instantly marvel at how great they sound. It really just feels like something was off in the music department during the Switch generation, which really I don't understand at all. It's not like there's one person managing every single soundtrack. It's not like there's been some executive order to make the music in every game a little less good. I don't know why this would be such a widespread issue. I don't know. I guess it is certainly possible that we've got different people working on these soundtracks now. Maybe a lot of the old guard has moved on. Or it's also possible that somehow this is just a coincidence? It doesn't seem likely, yet I don't really have a more likely alternative, so who knows? Whatever the case, though, I just have to hope that somehow things improve on Switch 2. I don't know why they would. If music was consistently disappointing this gen, I can't imagine things will suddenly correct themselves simply because these games are now being made for new hardware. But I guess I've got to at least hope. The Switch gave me a brand new Pikmin game, and it was so good. Almost a perfect Pikmin game. Almost. And finally, we come to the last Switch 1 blunder I would like Switch 2 to avoid. This isn't the kind of thing that bothers everyone, but to me, it's a pretty big issue. Boy, it sure would be nice if games ran better next gen, wouldn't it? This is yet another area where Nintendo has pretty much always
Yeah,
excelled.
I
Once
think the
again,
performance is going to improve. I saw the Mario Kart 9 trailer. Well, like, we all saw the Mario Kart 9 teaser, and it was actually pretty. It actually looked pretty good. Like the drawing distance, the character models don't look all that incredible, but they look cool. And the backgrounds, the drawing distance, the detail on the road, it looks really good.
and I doubt I even need to remind you of how their first-party efforts tend to be the best-looking and running games on their respective systems. Nintendo devs know how to wring every last drop out of a piece of hardware and optimize a game so perfectly that you'd be forgiven for assuming...
Imagine the Switch 2 is better, and Nintendo used that same tactic. Just imagine how good the games will look.
Said hardware was a lot more powerful than it is. The classic example is Super Mario Galaxy, which, apart from rendering at a slightly lower resolution, looked nearly as good as an Xbox 360 game. Nintendo games have always offered performance at least as good as anyone could reasonably expect, which makes the Switch generation all the more surprising. There have been a few good examples of Nintendo at their best. Breath of the Wild doesn't run perfectly, but I think the scope of the game kind of makes up for it. And then, of course, Tears of the Kingdom is something...
All right. So I have to cut it. I have to pause right here. So, I'll see you guys in the next stream. I might stream again today, maybe later, but right now I've got something that I need to do. So, obviously I'll be reacting to the Switch 2 Direct event tomorrow. So, yeah. Right. See ya.